Put your makeup on, get your nails done, curl your hair, run the extra mile, keep it slim so they like you. Do they like you? Get your sexy on, don't be shy, girl, take it off. This is what you want to belong, so they like you. And do they like you? You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to give it all away. You just have to get up, get up, get up. You don't have to change a single thing. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try. You don't have to try. Get your shopping on at the mall, girl, max your credit cards. You don't have to choose, buy it all, so they like you. Do they like you? Wait a second, why should you care what they think of you when you're all alone by yourself? Do they like you? Do they like you? You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to give it all away. You just have to get up, get up, get up. You don't have to change a single thing. You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to give it all away. You just have to get up, get up, get up. You don't have to change a single thing. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, try, try. You don't have to try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, try, try. You don't have to try. You don't have to try. You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to give it all away. You just have to get up, get up, get up. You don't have to change a single thing. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try, 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 try. You don't have to try. Take your makeup off, let your hair down, take a breath, look into the mirror at yourself. Do they like you? 'Cause I like you.
Woo! Listeners, we've got Erika Broadbent here today on the 5-Minute Bark. Are you guys ready for a great episode? All right, stay tuned because we're going to have a great conversation with her here today. Erika, thank you so much for that song. It was so beautiful. Oh my God. People are going to love hearing that on this podcast because we've never had somebody sing before on the 5-Minute Bark. So we got Erika here today and I'm so excited you came and did this. I know I totally randomly put you up on Facebook, but you know, what you're all about is very special to me and special to the women out there listening. And you have so much to share here today. So it's going to be really exciting. So Erika, let's first start off by telling people the story of you.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you for having me, first of all.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
The story of me. Well, I just turned 30, so a big year.
Big year.
And
I know when I was 30. I'm still
you mean
25.
Yesterday?
I'm 25 now.
You know, so my story, I guess, is, you know, for the last, you know, I'm 30 now. At 27 years old, I made a big change in my life. I moved back home here to San Diego after struggling with, over 22 years of struggling with an eating disorder. Moved back home, had to make that conscious decision of whether or not I wanted to live or wanted to die. Because, literally, because that is the severity of the situation that I was in. I moved home. I weighed, significantly under 100 pounds. And, I'm 5'2", and I was a 27-year-old woman. I should not be weighing anything less than 100 pounds.
Right.
So, I had to make a choice. My parents were amazing by letting me live at home for a while till I got back on my feet. But, it was very much expensive to go into treatment. So I had to do my research. I had to take what I can do. I had to go to free groups, and I had to just really make that conscious decision to keep living, because otherwise I wouldn't be here today.
I mean, to even have to say that on a microphone right now, it's a hard thing to say. I mean, there's so many people that can't stand up to what they're facing in their lives. And I have to give you so much credit for that, because myself, I'm doing transformation in my life, and I'm sure a lot of us out there nowadays, a lot of people are really becoming awakened to the problems they have to deal with, and so on and so forth. But I have to give you a lot of respect for doing this, and not only doing it to that level, but you're helping the world by even being here today and sharing with your blog and all the things you're doing. We're going to go into some of that here today, but your life story, obviously. But one of the things I read on your blog, and I want to repeat it here on today, if you don't mind answering it, is. Yeah. And it really, really hit with me. I'm like, I struggle with the simplest tasks of living. I mean, life got to that level for you. Absolutely.
And I think, I was living in a whole bubble of myself. Like everything I thought the world owed me. I, thought I did X, Y, and Z perfectly. And, why is, everything else happening? Why am I not getting everything that I want? And, really at the end of the day, as I went through recovery and started to kind of get outside of myself, and as humbling as it was, I realized that life is not attacking me.
Right.
Every single person on this planet has some sort of struggle, some sort of hardship that they're either going to overcome or they're going to let consume them.
Let me ask you this, because you're saying that you felt like the world owed you something, and a lot of us feel that way because we go out and we do so many good things. Like we be a good person, we're good to our friends, we help them more than maybe they help us. Mm-hmm. Why do you feel help these people out that want to maybe fight that? Because it's something hard to fight.
I think especially as a younger, in your younger ages as well, like you just don't understand things. And that doesn't mean anything other than just that. You just don't understand, and that's okay. Right. I didn't understand, my grandparents getting a divorce. After, 40 plus years of marriage, especially in the Mexican culture, that just doesn't happen. Right. But as a child, you don't understand.
Right.
And, there's death, there's bullying, there's these simple everyday situations that you're going to go through as adolescents that you just don't understand. So if you do your best, if you, get straight A's, if you do X, Y, and Z, like you just feel like, well, when is my time?
Right.
Don't I get this? But you cannot go through life expecting a reward.
Right.
You can't.
And life is your reward.
It is.
Every day that you
life.
wake up is your reward.
Absolutely.
And it's so important to understand that we, every day, I'm a big goal guy. I love to write goals. I have a ridiculous goal, things like dog goals, speaking goals, health goals. I mean, it's retarded. I'll show you later if you want to see it. But at the end of the time, I write those goals down, and then a year or two later, life goes on and we do things, and I look at it and I'm like, I feel like I accomplished none of those goals. So I go and look at it, and sure enough, you find out you actually really did accomplish every one of those goals. Mm-hmm. But yet everybody thinks they don't accomplish anything. They feel like they've gotten nowhere. They're back to where square one is, or back negative square one. And we accomplish new things. We accomplish new friends. We accomplish new things in life. And it's just, we have to remind ourselves that every day is another day that we're on top of our life.
Yeah, every day is a blessing. Every day is another day to learn, whether it's a good situation or a bad situation. If you can learn from it, you are progressing, and you're not the same person that you were a year ago or however long. Like, you're just not.
Right. One of the things you said is I had no longer had control of my life.
I didn't. Yeah.
And what made you think, again, now obviously now you feel like you have control of your life, but there's people out there that will feel that. A lot of women will resonate with that, and men, but a lot of men, obviously women are more struggling with what you had,
Right. But men do struggle with eating disorders. They mask it with everything else,
right.
Which is,
I guess we're better at covering up, right?
It is. Alcohol, drugs,
yeah.
It doesn't really matter,
Bigger shirts.
But,
shirts.
so, I didn't have any control. And, the thing with the eating disorder is you think by enacting in this disease, you are in control. You can control you can't control anything else around you. You can't control life. You can't control how people react to, things you say, or you want things to happen a certain way. You cannot control that.
Well, right.
But the eating disorder, you can control how you look, what you do, what you eat, and it becomes this overwhelming sense that you have all this control, when in actuality you have no control whatsoever. You have no control of who you are, because you lose everything, because you work so hard to protect this demon inside of you.
Right.
I like to call it the Ed voice, because the eating disorder, Ed. Some people call it the Anna voice, anorexia. But, it's this voice in your head, and it's so evil, and it tells you all these evil things, and you want to believe it. You punish yourself because you think that you deserve it.
Right.
And I had no control. And, I wouldn't necessarily today I have control, but I've given away that control. I allow, people like to call higher power, or, Buddha, or whatever it is that you practice. I do believe in God, and I believe that he has a set path for me.
Right.
So I don't have any control, but I have control in my day-to-day living. I have control in how I treat myself, how I treat other people. And I mean, that's all the control that we have, really.
All right. So there's one day in your life you decide to make this change. There's this one moment, and I try to ask this of all my guests, because there's usually a deciding moment. Like in my life, when I was like 4 years old, I just had this feeling that from here on out, I can still resonate with that moment. Mm-hmm. Do you know that very moment where for example, one of my past guests, I said this before on a podcast, is he realized at a dumpster when he was found, he's a businessman, and he's starting this new Uber. It's just amazing. He's going to be a billionaire, I guarantee it. And, but he realized when he was going to a dumpster and he saw a couch there that he could sell on eBay, and he's one of the first people on eBay, but that was his like very moment that triggered him, that I can sell something. And
Yeah.
there was a moment that triggered you, because women and men are going to be looking for this deciding point in their life that's going to make them go forward. What was that moment for you? Do you remember that?
I do.
That very, very moment.
Very
that second?
vividly, as if it was yesterday. We were sitting at my girlfriend's house. It was my girlfriend, Kristen, and my best friend, Raquel. And, I was just not okay. And we were talking, and I remember I just started crying, because it was the same conversation that we always have. I'm sad. I don't know what to do. I'm at the end of my life. Like, I don't want to live. I don't know. And I just remember my best friend Raquel turning to me and saying, "You know what? I love you, but I can't do this anymore. I can't help you. I love you so much, but I cannot help you." And as we continued to talk that night, I remember leaving there and just thinking to myself, if I don't do something, I'm going to lose everything that I love.
Right.
And, it was at that moment when I started to realize that I needed help, and I needed to figure it out on my own. And yes, I knew people would be there to help me, but I can only imagine what they must be thinking. How many times do they have to try to pick me up? And it's not their job to take care of me. It's my own job to take care of myself.
Because they've done it over and over.
Yes. You can only imagine.
It's
infuriating.
No, I've experienced it many times where I've told friends to do something and they just don't listen, and then you give up. It's
Absolutely.
Like, we're not talking about the subject anymore, because you wanted my opinion, you didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Good,
Yeah.
But you resonated with it finally.
Yeah, it hit me in a spot that I don't think was.
It was like an ouch.
It was like, yeah, it was like a really, really soft spot in my heart, like, a dagger, like finally. And then at that point, I'm like, well, now what?
Right.
What do I do? Like,
Right.
I had no idea what to do.
But now you're on a different level, and maybe that feeling was like you were displacing the world, like you were like interrupting the world and interrupting your friend's life because you're taking up their time with this it's not nonsense, but this talk of
Right.
just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, and I struggled for a long time because I didn't want to be a burden to
Right.
people.
Right.
But there's a difference between being a burden and completely just not listening, like not taking the care and the advice and the love that is like directed at you. I wanted so badly to, do it myself, but I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't even know who I was anymore. And I needed to figure out whatever steps it would take for me to get back to that place. And it's not a burden to ask for help, but it's a burden if you're not willing to follow through with what you're asking for. And it's not fair for you to ask somebody for help if you're not willing to help yourself.
Exactly. And on a different struggle, I've had a friend who had passed away from drugs, I was there for him over and over and over,
Yeah.
took him in and gave him a place to lay, money, everything, just over and over again. But I look back and I realize that I was trying to help him when he wasn't really asking for the help.
Right.
And I really think, and I feel bad for this because his family was there doing the same thing I was doing. Everybody's trying to help him, but we never gave him the chance like you had to realize on his own. Because like they're basically, anytime you need help, I will help you. But you should have said, you're on your own. I'm not going to, kind of like your friend.
It's really hard.
Really, it's really hard. But we're all out there to help people, and they have to help themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's something we really have to learn in life. And it's hard. It's like tough love. It's, people don't think you care about that person, but you do.
Right.
But the more you string them along, you're stringing them along. And if your friends would have kept on doing that and stringing you along, you maybe still be there right now or be somewhere else. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I needed that tough love, and sometimes you do.
Yeah.
You need it, and it's not personal. It's really out of love.
So the best thing now is recovery. Okay. So we're now told people, hey, there's possibility out there for you, but the road to recovery is not perfection. I love how you said that. I love how you said that because I believe that myself. It's like, it's like, it's rough. It's not perfect. It's like, but the bottom line is you get up in the morning, you eat your meal, you go to the gym, you go to yoga, you do your things, and your life just kind of unfolds from there. It's just, I have a saying here at the 5 Minute Bark is, it's like kind of like Nike's got just do it. I said, I just did it. Because there's a big difference,
a good
right?
One. Absolutely.
Just do it. No, I just did it.
Right.
So as fast as you can say, I'm going to do it, you just do it and did it. So it's gone, it's done. So tell me.
Well, recovery is probably the hardest, most rewarding thing I ever went through. I was in a state where I felt like I was always sad. I was always crying. I was always I was a mess. I had no idea what was going on in my head. There was a million things going on, and I couldn't make sense of any of it. It was very easy to want to give up.
Right.
But I started going to free groups here in San Diego. There's a 12-step EDA, Eating Disorder Anonymous fellowship that I started to be a part of every Sunday, which I now run. And I started for the first time to feel as though I wasn't the only one. I felt it was the first time in, I think, my entire life where I felt safe. I didn't feel like a crazy person. There were other people that struggled with the exact same thing that I was going through. And then there was a sense of peace with that. And, I was not 100% on board to get into recovery. Yeah. I honestly did it because it hurt my heart to see, the sadness in my parents' eyes, especially my mother. I didn't want to make her hurt anymore, but I didn't know what else to do. And the love and the support, I just didn't want to throw that away, but I didn't really know how to direct it towards myself and to do it for myself. So, in the beginning, I may have not done it for me. I did it for my parents. I did it for my mother. But the more you keep doing what you need to be doing, the more that transitions. And the more and more and more I was doing the things that I knew I needed to do, the more and more I got on board with, hey, you know what? I want this.
Yeah.
I want this for me. And at that point, I made the necessary steps to get on that path, figure out what that was, how that was going to look, and how that's supposed to look. And, you know, I tell you, the first 3 months of, you know, eating normal, eating whatever everyone is considered normal, you know, like eating right, eating healthy, you know, trying to get the amount of sleep that I needed to get, you know, it was hell. It was really hell. And there were so many times when I was overwhelmed with emotion and I felt really uncomfortable with my body. I felt really just uncomfortable in life in general, but I knew that I was doing what I needed to do. And the thing is the overwhelming emotions, I thought it was supposed to get easier. I thought it was supposed to be, you know, better. I thought I was going to be happy. And it wasn't that I was sad. It was a whole nother different level of emotions. It was every single emotion that I swept under the rug that I chose not to deal with and numb out via my eating disorder. So now that I am not enacting in behaviors and I'm trying to, you know, be healthy and do all these right things that I know that I'm supposed to do to be, you know, be the best me that I can be, I now was faced with the fact that I had to deal with those things that got me to the place that I was. It was all my inner demons, all the sadness, all the hurt, all the tragedy. I had to deal with it in the face and move on because it was the only way truly that I was going to be okay.
It's the only way. There really is the only way is just to tackle it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just did it. And you're doing it every day and it's done and you're moving
it is
forward.
A choice.
And now it's not a chore. It's part of your life, right?
Right. Well, yeah, and it's a choice that I have to make every day. And you know, sometimes it's hard. I'm tired. I don't want to take care of myself. I want somebody to, you know, take me out of bed and shower me and cook my meals for me. And you know, I don't want to, but I know that nobody else is going to do it for me. You
know what's funny is you say that, but if somebody came along and did that, and you're going to go, you know what? I don't need it right now. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds crazy, but like I'm going through a lot of therapy myself with transformation. And we're talking about this exact thing. It's like, and he told me this and it's perfect. It's like, cause I have this routine. I do. It's a retarded routine. I get up and I'm trying to schedule this out, do meditation, do yoga, do this, do that, all these different things. And it's like, just like you said, I got to do this again. And he said, I told him, I'm like, you know, I'm doing all this stuff. And he's like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And I'm like, well, I have to do it. It's like, well, if you do it and you're not really wanting to do it, then you're not going to get anything out of it. It's just another chore.
Right.
Right. So what happens is, and it happens every time, is you say, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to do it. So you get up, you take a shower and say, but I want to now do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. So two things happen there. One, you go from a state of mind that's not wanting and not energized. And they always say if you want things to happen and be created in your life, it's because you are happy and your energy is flowing. Mm-hmm. But when your body is not flowing with energy like you're talking about, you don't want to do it, then don't do it. And then you get up, you get your energy going, and then all of a sudden it's like, I want to do all these things. And do you ever find that?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
All of us do.
And you know, sometimes when I get really down in a funk, you know, I remember going to therapy one day and I'm just like, you know what? I have no motivation. I have no motivation and there's nothing even going on. Yeah. I'm not even, you know, everything's fine. Life is great. I just have no motivation to do anything.
Right.
And I was like, why? What is that? And she's like, you know what? Sometimes it happens. Yeah. And she's like, you understand that in order to have motivation, you have to have momentum. But momentum doesn't happen. You have to create momentum. So sometimes you don't want to do things, but you just get up and you do them and you start that momentum going. And then eventually the momentum will turn into that motivation. But it just takes a small step. And sometimes we don't always want to do things. Right. But sometimes you just do them.
Erica, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of a battery that lasts forever?
No.
Okay. Your body has a battery, has an energy thing. And all it is your body saying, well, I need a rest. And that's really what it's saying. It's like, I'm not motivated. I'm not. It's just saying, then you need to shut your brain down, sit in bed, read a book, fall asleep, get up, go jump in the ocean, go for a walk, look into the sky, look nowhere, do nothing, and then come back to life.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest struggle with
Because you don't want to waste the time.
Absolutely.
It's a whole day of time. I could be doing this, and this, and like, oh my God, I'm behind on everything else.
Yeah,
Life's-
and then I think for me too, it is a behavior. You want to seclude yourself. You want to be a recluse. You don't want to do anything in your disorder. So in recovery, it's really sometimes the lines, you don't know what's blurred. Like, am I enacting in a behavior and I'm being crazy? And at the end of the day, if I'm feeling okay and doing everything I'm supposed to do, I want to sit on the couch and watch Lifetime all day long. I'm going to go and watch Lifetime all day long.
No, you want to sit down and listen to the 5 Minute Bar.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Stand corrected there. No. Okay, so one of the great thing I noticed, and of course it's part of your culture as well, and just part of you anyway, because that's how you are, but my family and friends mean the world to me.
Yes, they do.
They do.
And
obviously your friends have helped you and your family have helped you to get to this point we're here today, where you're sitting here on a microphone with a smile and singing and doing all these great things, and you get the sunny day, and you live in one of the most beautiful countries in the world, or cities in the world, San Diego, and
yeah.
so your family and friends mean a lot to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming home after living, almost 10 years of my life, doing whatever I wanted, going to school, working with amazing human beings, and just loving what I did. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I was so sad. I couldn't fully live my life. And so coming home at 27, it was so humbling to have to start all over again, or have to figure out what I wanted to do, and if I wanted to even live, period. And, my mother is just the most amazing woman I've ever had the privilege of having in my life. And I'm so grateful for her. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be here today. She, took a second job. She works full time as a librarian for an elementary school, and then she worked a second job at Home Depot because she didn't want me to work. She wanted me to focus on figuring it out, and I couldn't go into recovery. I had to just whatever worked, whatever we could figure out that worked for me at the time. And it was a big support, because there were days when I didn't think that I could do it, and the motivation that my family and my closest friends brought me. There were moments when I just wanted someone to sit with me, and whether I cried all day or I wanted them to talk about something else so that I could not be in my own head so much. And friends who would come and stay with me for weeks. My mom would just sit and let me cry. And those are the moments that I will always forever, cherish. And when it gets really, really tough, I remember those moments.
So we don't want to break that mold of that mom you have, right?
No.
She's the best mold ever.
She's pretty awesome.
She made you, so you're going to have to pass it down going forward. What is it? So. The old pay it forward.
Yes.
Erika's going to pay it forward, because mom, hopefully you're listening out there, she's going to take the reins from here going forward. So you did a good job, and you showed her the way, and that's good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And your friends too, obviously they have changed your life forever, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So you have made a stance to help others, and you're doing that now. And do you want to share a little bit about that? Maybe your blog, or I saw something about you have a anonymous group and so on and so forth.
Well,
is that still going on?
Yeah, the Eating Disorder Anonymous group actually is held in Encinitas at 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, on Sundays. And really, it was the first group, the first interaction in stepping out and actually saying, I have an eating disorder, like I'm not okay. Right. And being in a group of men and women, sharing their stories, sharing their struggles was very inspiring, and it's unlike anything that I ever, seen or experienced in my life. And I remember sitting in those rooms, and now, I've been running it for the last year now. And, we're supposed to, change it up a little bit, and, I'll run it for 6 months, another person run it for 6 months. But sometimes, it takes a little bit longer. A lot of men and women are scared. They're nervous,
right.
And I mean, there is a guideline, and it's not my group. It was started before I got there, and it'll go on, hopefully, beyond me and forever and ever and ever to help people. But it's a safe place for people to go to, just be honest with themselves and it's honesty really is the key to, happiness.
Right.
Because if you're honest with yourself and you can be honest with others and you can keep progressing. So, I go to that group. There's a couple other groups in the area that, really helped with my recovery and just being in a place with other men and women who are struggling with the same thing.
It's all about surrounding yourself with those people.
Absolutely.
I'm going to challenge you to change the words that you used before. You said, I have an eating disorder and I'm not okay. But what if we change that to, I had a eating disorder and I am okay because I realized I had a eating disorder. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Because it's a choice of words that we use. Because if you say I'm not okay, but you're really okay, because you're just like the rest of us. We all have issues, but we're okay.
We're okay. We're alive. We're breathing. We're essentially.
But I'm going to challenge you to say it that way from now on, and because if you say it okay, because look at the smile on your face. But if you say I'm not okay, you're going to bring a frown to your face. It just happens just like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important for us to choose the right words because we want to motivate ourselves in any way possible. And I've learned this one again from saying stuff you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's you are okay, Erika. You're okay.
I am.
And you're kicking butt. You're taking names. But if you tell that to the next person next to you, they're gonna go, "What do you mean? No, I'm not okay." But no,
you are.
You are okay because you realized it, right?
Right.
And it's all about realization, and that's what we're all about in this world nowadays. We're all waking up. We're all realizing that we have control of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We really do.
Absolutely.
And I was going to go somewhere else, but I'm not going to go there right now. But so Project Unicorn.
Yes.
I love the name.
Okay, so Project Unicorn. A lot of people don't understand why unicorns. Like, what are you, 12?
Are you 12?
I wish. The thing is, we have this. We encourage people in our groups and everything to be on this phone list, to keep in touch with each other in between meetings, and but it's really difficult for you, especially somebody who's just venturing out, to pick up the phone and call somebody when you need them, especially strangers in this group, and you only know so little or so much about them and whatever they share. And so early in my recovery, a bunch of girls and I, we just they decided that hey, we'll just mass text messages. Let's introduce this idea of mass text message, because everyone is busy. We all got stuff going on, like whatever. So, it's hard for you to like text one person and what if they don't respond? And it's not personal, but when you're in such a fragile state,
Yep.
You think that. And the last thing we would want anyone to do is feel that. So we decided that, just text as many people, do a mass text message and just shoot out the word unicorn. And that was kind of like 911. And,
Awesome.
And then at that point, whoever responds back, hey, how can I support you? Hey, what's going on? Hey, are you okay? Then that person feels a sense of, okay, yeah. So then they can pretty much share as much or as little as they want to. They can say, hey, you know what? I just wanted to know that there were other people out, like that there was somebody there. Or, hey, I'm struggling with this. Or, hey, I'm having a really bad day. Can someone meet me for coffee?
Right.
And it's just, it helps you ease into that fact that, yes, they might be strangers, but yes, they also are there and they can support you.
Awesome.
And so that's why we call it Project Unicorn. Absolutely. And, it's Project Unicorn, but it's also, the tagline is be a light, save a life. Because while you're doing what you need to be doing, you're shedding this light. And somebody else could be taking that, and you can essentially save their life just by smiling at them or talking to them. And in the meantime, you're also saving your own life by continuing to live in this moment of peace and this moment of honesty. And so it really is just this website that I wanted to create, and hopefully, in my dream would be to have a nonprofit.
Oh, good.
And essentially get, a sober living situation, but for men and women who are exiting out of, the recovery program, because that is the number one, sad realization that you actually might have to just go back into that toxic situation that you came from. Even though you're a little stronger and a little better, you're still so vulnerable. And there is nothing out there to help bridge that gap. And so I would love to, at some point in my life, own a couple of different apartment complexes and just on a case-by-case basis, whatever you can do with the, knowledge that they have to get on their feet on their own.
Right.
But let me help you in this transition. And so that's what I see in the future. I also have my blog on there. It's called Living in the Gray because...
And where can they find that blog?
At erikabroadbent.com.
That's easy.
So easy.
Just say my name and I'll pop up on the internet.
Yeah, and it's my life. I'm very candid. I'm such an open book, but I went through my entire life thinking that things had to be black or white.
Right.
But recovery is about living in the gray. Life is about living in the gray. You fall down, you pick yourself back up again. Nothing is perfect, and everyone's idea of perfect is different.
Absolutely. And we're allowed to be different.
We're allowed, and that's what makes us uniquely beautiful.
Yep. And that's something I have struggled with is I've tried to be like other people, look like them, do like them. But if you look outside this window here, Erika, there's nothing in this world that is the same.
Nope.
There's not a particle, a piece of dirt, a tree, a dog, a cat, a person that's the same.
Nope.
And I don't know why it took me so many years to realize that I am not supposed to be like somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's something that's so tough to realize, because it's so stupidly easy, because it's all around us every day. Every day. There's never a sunny day every single day. There's never a cloudy day every day. There's never a rain, earthquake, everything. Everything is completely changing and evoluting and moving on. And nothing's ever going to be the same. It's never going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's always going to be sunny out, but there's going to be a different cloud in the sky.
Absolutely.
And it's really something to move on with. And wow, it was such a great interview here today. I'm so glad it went good. I know you were a little nervous.
A little bit.
I was too. So, you never know what's going to come out of your mouth when you turn the microphone on. So, and we actually did this whole podcast already, and we forgot to press the record button. So stupid me. Well, currently I am a photographer, videographer, recording studio guy, and host. So, when we get bigger and better, we'll have all those people behind me pressing those buttons for us, so we can focus on talking. But I think we did a good time here. Good thing here today. And so Erika Broadbent, if you want to check her out on her website, erikabroadbent.com. And I'm also going to encourage this. I'm a website guy, and I build websites for a living. But one of the greatest things out there for what you're doing is Facebook. It's called Facebook Groups. It's a private group setting, okay, that you can set up for free. And have all the beautiful tools you ever need for these people to communicate. So you may want to look into that, and maybe I'll let you put that in the show notes later if you do it. I can help you set it up right now. But if you want to have a private group and you just invite only the people that need the help, it's not public. They're not seeing people crying or talking or anything. They can post pictures and anything they want. It's a private group setting that Facebook offers, and it's free.
Fantastic.
Because to develop that would cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that, because it's a good thing.
Perfect.
So,
absolutely. Thank you.
So with that in mind, we're going to end the show here today. And thank you again so much for coming on. And,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, doing all this fun stuff here on the 5-Minute Bark. And wow, you just heard it, Erika Broadbent. And we'll talk to you guys again with another amazing guest on the next show. Bye, everybody.